All right. Hello, everyone. Today we're going to go over how to use MagicSchool AI. I recently posted about this and how it is a game changer for teachers. It does not matter if you are K through 12. It does not matter if you're college. This is just absolutely fantastic. And they've actually added 4 new items just in this past hour. So the AI resistant assignment suggestions, the coach's sports practice generator, the data table analysis generator, and the syllabus generator are all brand new. They just added those. Okay. Um, Again, fantastic. For those of you that are just starting back to school, you can go ahead and throw your stuff in the syllabus generator and get one real quick for you. Okay. Haven't played with those yet. They just popped up. Okay. We also have a rubric generator, a model science lesson generator, okay, a math spiral review. So if you're doing math, this is a spiral review activity. So you put in what you need them to work on and what you've already done, and it helps do a review for that. Okay, haven't played with that. I do English, but it's there for you math people. Okay, same with the three-dimensional science assessment. Okay, so if you're in the sciences, math, they've got you covered. ELA, social studies, they got you covered as well. Okay, this will generate academic content. Okay, and I'm not going to go into every single one of these in detail, but just the ones that I think are absolutely fantastic. Okay. So they have a lesson plan generator. It's going to be brief and it really kind of just depends on what your lesson plan template at your school looks like. I'm lucky enough that at my school, they have just very few requirements that have to be on there, and they're not necessarily in this lesson plan. So there's 1 or 2 things that I do have to add, but for the most part, we don't have a specific template that we have to use. So this is fantastic and saves a lot of time. If you are required to use a specific template, it may or may not work for you. Okay. Then we have a diagnostic assessment generator, which will create a multiple choice diagnostic for any topic that you want or any standard. And it'll also include an answer key for you, so you don't have to go through all the work of doing it yourself anymore. Unit plan generator, again, just like the lesson plan generator, you put the information in, it'll give you something, and I'll go through some of these here after I go through all the list. Okay. Informational text generator, this is wonderful if you have to do informational text regardless of what you teach. You just type in what you're talking about. Is it literary nonfiction? Is it an expository, an argument? And you type in what it is that you're looking for information on, and it will give you text. Okay. Now, again, just like ChatGPT, sometimes it's not completely factual. So as long as you're not looking for 100% factual information, you're good. Some of it does have facts, but again, you want to double check everything that's AI generated. Okay. There is a text rewriter tool, which means that you can take a very difficult text and put it in there. And the fun thing with this is it's not just where it makes it easier. They do have another thing for that down here. You can put a specific text in. So like if you wanted to do the 3 little pigs, you could put that in and then ask it to make the 3 little pigs, but for a specific audience or based on a specific topic, or you could change the characters in there and it'll rewrite it for you. So that is really fun. For those of you that have students that have 504s or IEPs, there is a behavior intervention suggestion. Okay. So based on what behaviors the student is producing or showing, it will give you a couple of suggestions that you can try to use with those students to help them. Okay. A multiple choice quiz generator. This just makes a quiz for you based on what you're putting in. And again, it gives you an answer key. Okay. Haven't really played with the colleague song generator. From what I can tell, it just gives you lyrics. It doesn't actually produce a song. But it's something silly to do. I do really like the make it relevant. So you just type in what it is that you're teaching and then things about your specific class. So like, is your class really into Minecraft? Are they into Roblox? Are they on Instagram? Do they like playing outside? Are they into sports? Whatever like the makeup of your class is, you type that in and it'll come up with how to make what you're teaching relevant to those students so that you can tie it in. Okay. Again, for my math people, it also has math story word problems. So you just type in what concept that you're talking about and a story topic, and it'll create something for you. Okay. Again, you don't have to do it all on your own. They have icebreakers. It'll just kind of give you an idea of different ones. It'll rotate through them if you just keep clicking through. So that's fun. The text lever tool is great. You can just put in any text that you want that you're using in your classroom, and then you can select your grade level and it will produce one at that level. So if I have a seventh grader who is reading at a second grade level, I can put our text in here and then select second grade, and it will give me that same text, but on a level that a second grader could read and understand. So it's really good for helping all your students. Vocabulary-based text generator, this is also cool. You include the list of vocabulary that you want to use. So if you have a specific list, and then it will come up with stories or texts for you that use those vocabulary words. Okay. Another one is the common misconception generator. So you talk about a specific topic and it will tell you how to discuss misconceptions that happen along with that topic. Then you have your vocabulary list, which is topic-based. So you just type in a topic or a subject, and it will give you a list of vocabulary words that go along with it. Okay, if you need some ideas for a vocabulary list. Okay, next, and again, this is like an extensive list. This is everything this does. It is amazing. So I really suggest going in there and playing around with it and seeing what works best for you. We do have the text summarizer tool. So again, you put whatever text in you want, and it's going to summarize it for you. Okay. They used to have, I don't know if it works on all the Chromebooks still. If your admin allows it, they do have similar summarizers that you can put in your browser as an add-on, and you can do that as well, but you can also use it here if your school kind of blocks you from using any add-ons for Chrome. Class newsletter tool, this is fantastic. If you want to do a really quick newsletter each week and be amazing, but you don't want to put in the time to do all that extra work, just type in the basics of what you're looking for in your newsletter, what you want to cover for that specific newsletter, and it will produce one for you. And then I would just copy and paste it into a pretty little Canva template and then download that and send out your pretty little newsletter weekly, monthly, however. Okay. For those that are doing SAT test prep, there are SAT reading questions. I will actually be using this for my 6th, 7th, and 8th graders as well, even though they're not going to the SAT right now, just to help them prepare for those Georgia milestones. Okay. So it will give you the style of an SAT reading section, and you type in what text it is that you want to use. So if you want to practice SAT reading questions, or just standardized test questions based on what you're actually reading in class, this is a fantastic option. Okay. Again, it's an extensive list. Then you've got your text analysis assignment. So you give them a writing prompt. Okay, so you give the AI the writing prompt. Okay, and then it's going to come up with text dependent questions that are aligned to that specific prompt. So you say, here's the text that I want you to talk about, and this is, you know, what kind of prompt I want, and it'll come up with questions. Okay. But then they have the email family tool. Okay, which is great. And it also translates into like 15 different languages. So whatever languages that your family speak at home, you can go ahead and translate your email right in there. Okay. Then there's a reading quiz generator. It'll do a multiple choice quiz. And you put in any text that you want, and it will make a multiple choice quiz about that. And again, then we have text dependent questions, which again, you just put in any text that you want and it'll come up with questions about that for you. You've got your SAT math practice test generator. Again, your reading practice test generator. Okay. This is not based on any text. This is literally just like SAT reading passages, just for kids to be able to practice. Okay. We also have an IEP suggestion generator. So for kids that have IEPs, what are some suggestions of things that you can do with them based on what their accommodations are? Okay. We've got our multiple explanations for complex concepts. This is great. So you just put in like what you're teaching and it'll break it down for the student. So if you teach math and they're like, I really just don't understand this, I don't get it, you're teaching it, but I don't understand, you can try putting it in here and it'll break it down further for them. Okay. Then you've got your restorative reflection generator, which is where it will give the students a reflection assignment based on a disciplinary incident. So if you have problem behaviors in class, you can use this after an incident happens to have them reflect on what they did wrong and how they need to address that in the future. Okay, and we're still going. Okay, We have exemplar, non-exemplar. So you just give a specific assignment and it will create an exemplar and a non-exemplar of what you're looking for. So like this is what I'm looking for. This is like an A response, or this is like an F response. This is not what we're looking for. Okay. This is especially helpful for like new teachers or those that are teaching a new subject or a new grade level that might not have exemplars from past classes. Okay. We then have end of year student comments. So if you're required to at the end of the year, you know, put down information about your kids, like how well they did throughout the year, this kind of does canned comments that don't sound super canned. You then have an assignment scaffolder. This is wonderful, especially for kids that get overwhelmed. So you just put down any assignment that you have, and this will go ahead and break it down into manageable steps of what they need to do first, second, third, without you having to do anything with it. It'll automatically do it for them so that they can see what they should be doing at what point. Okay. We are almost to the bottom now. So we have an email responder tool. So based on an email from a parent, colleague, whatever, if you have one that you're like, I don't know how to respond to this professionally, copy and paste it in here, and it'll come up with a polite, professional response to that email. Okay. Letter recommendation for all those people that teach seniors who wait till the very last minute to ask you for letter recommendation. Here you go. You put specific content about that student in there, but you're not stuck having to come up with brand new information. Okay. Letter recommendation, 2 minutes, done. Okay. Text translator, any text, and you can translate it into any language. This is especially helpful. I know that I had a couple ESOL students in the past, and this would have been fantastic to be able to help them access what we were reading in class without struggling so much. We then have a text scaffolder tool, okay? And what that is it's going to tier it by like level 2 and level 3 vocabulary questions, and it'll ask literal questions about the text, okay? This is really good for kids that are behind grade level with reading. It really breaks it down for them. Next, we have an accommodation suggestion. So hey, this kid needs an IEP, 504, a BIP, whatever. Here's a list of 5 to 10 accommodations that you might be able to suggest during one of those IEP meetings. Okay, next is vocabulary list that's text-based. Okay, so this is going to do tier 2 and tier 3 words, and you just put in any text and it'll come up with vocabulary for pre-teaching. So assuming they have not read this text yet, these are vocabulary words that'll be helpful. Okay, and then finally, our last row down here, clear directions. This is wonderful. I have had a lot of students in the past complain because my directions get rather lengthy. They're very in-depth, but they run on, and some students just don't have the capacity to read through all the directions like that. So this is great. It basically takes any set of directions that you have and it puts it in like a bullet list of do first, do second, do third. And it makes it very clear and very short and concise so that students can understand exactly what it is that you're asking of them. Then you've got a text proofreader tool. So you put it in here. Basically, it's just like if you had Word and you did spell check. Well, it's going to proofread it for grammar, spelling, and punctuation. So that's not like a huge woo thing. We've had that since like the 90s. But it's good to have. Okay. Next, we have a BIP suggestion generator. So if you have a child that has a behavior intervention plan, based on observed behaviors, these are some other suggestions that you can do to try to help the student. So some of these I probably won't be using. You don't have to use all of them. Obviously, that's a lot. That's a lot. And if it overwhelms you, at the top, you can just search for specific tools. And you can also click on one of these. So if you're looking just for stuff on like planning, like I'm just trying to plan stuff, it'll fish out everything. So just items for planning. If you just want stuff for communication, boom, here's the 5 items they have that helps with communication. Okay, so really, really fantastic with that. If you have questions, they have a little chat box over here that you can chat to. But overall, it's fantastic. So I'm going to show you kind of how to use some of these. Okay. So let's go. Where is it? I just had it. Newsletter. All right. So let's say before school starts, I want to go ahead and start a newsletter. All right. So here we're just going to go This is Demboya. Okay, here are our appointment announcements. Okay, Chromebook. Charged. Charged Chromebook, pencil and paper with them. Not pencil. Okay, with each day. And then please remember no cell phone use during instruction time. Boom. Those are my important announcements. Okay, celebrations for the week. Our first week back. Okay. And then any additional content. So this is where I'm going to talk about what we're going to be doing. So we are going to be starting a pre-assessment unit. And I call it survival. Okay. It is a 2-week unit. Reading, teamwork, reading comprehension, research skills, uh, narrative writing, expository writing, and argumentative writing, right? As well as speaking and listening skills. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and click generate. So that took like what, a minute to type in all that information. And now I'm going to go ahead and click on generate. Right. And this is what we get. Okay. Look at how like beautiful this is. Okay. You can also click on length. So if you want it shorter, you can make it shorter. You can make it longer. Okay. So that is absolutely fantastic. Okay. So it did all this just from that little basic information that I put in there. Okay. And then you can just copy and paste it right into Canva, pretty little template, and you're good to go to send it to families. Okay, so really fantastic if you want to update parents each week, but you don't want to have to spend hours or even like minutes and minutes, 30 minutes of time at home or planning to create a newsletter. I've done that in the past, and doing this for 5 minutes saves a lot of time. Okay. You can also star, so you got favorites. So if you have ones that you're going to use repeatedly, you can just star them and they will pop up at the top. So you don't have to keep scrolling back and forth and back and forth. Okay. So that was fantastic. This is another one that I used is the informational text generator. So part of what I'm doing, so 6th, 7th, and 8th for me are pretty much all the same when I'm doing this. So I want this to be literary nonfiction. You can choose between expository, argumentative, or procedural. Okay. And the length. So I want this to be about a page. Okay. And then for like 7th grade, I would do 2 pages, and 8th grade, I would do 3. So what I do is for this, and I'll do another video on how I do this for the first 2 weeks of school. It's a great way for me to assess where students are at while they still have fun and are engaged. So it's survival, so they have to be able to do research on how they would survive in a nuclear apocalypse, essentially. At high school, the students were supposed to like go Google on their own and research on their own. But because these are middle schoolers, I'm going to kind of give them articles that they can go through and do the research on with those articles. So they're going to annotate and do a close reading of these articles to figure out what is important, what they need to know. Okay, so my topic is nuclear apocalypse. Okay, and now I need to be specific. So what do I need to worry about? About Okay. So what do I need to know about freshwater sources and air quality and weather in a nuclear apocalypse in the US? Okay. We click on generate. Boom. And it breaks it down so beautifully because look, now, especially for like middle school students or students that just kind of struggle in general, again, I can choose text length. I can also summarize it and you can also translate it. Beautiful. So right here, this is our introduction. And then boom, this is the information about how to find fresh water. Boom, this is the information about what the air quality would be like. And then this is what the weather would end up being like. And then we've got our conclusion because it always says in conclusion. Okay, that's how you kind of know it's AI, right? Um, and then I just copy that and print it. And I always tell kids like, this is just for investigative purposes. This is not 100% fact-based. Like some of it is going to be true, but again, because it's AI generated, it's not always me 100%. So I just kind of put that caveat out there, like for this specific activity that we're doing, this is what we're using. However, you need to know how to do your own legitimate research and academic research later on to be sure that you can verify all of this. Okay. But because this is a fun activity, I just use this. And again, it is mostly accurate. Okay. What the air quality would be like, what the weather would be like. Okay. Um, Also, anything that it's pulling from right now is only from before 2021. So anything that has happened in 2022 or 2023, it has no idea. And I know that they are working, like right now, it cannot generate any images or access the web, but they are working on that so that they can find stuff that is more up to date and find images. So that is like what they're working on. And then, so if I want to do sixth grade, that's what it looks like. If I want to do seventh grade, it's going to kind of give me the same thing, but then I can always check on, I want it to be 2 pages. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and click generate. Okay. And you're going to see how this changes a little bit more. And it's going to go a little bit more in depth with everything. Okay. Because we want it to be longer. Okay. And then if you have students that have like IEPs, I can say, I just want all of this in like one paragraph. And down here, it'll give me the original up top, and then down below, it will give me that summarized version. Okay. And if you have kids that are really, really low, you can even put 2 to 3 sentences, and then boom, here's the information that they need. All right. So it really is fantastic. I will definitely be using this one, the lesson planner for sure. Maybe rubrics. Again, that kind of just depends on how you do rubrics. If your district already has some set up for you or not, but it is absolutely fantastic. Okay. Um, let's see. Did that. So let's say that I want to do the SAT reading questions. Okay. Let's just say I want 5 questions. What I'm going to do, I'm going to pause this so that you guys don't lose your minds because of how many tabs I have open in that other window. So this is so that you cannot see all that. I'm going to go ahead and pull from what I've already done. There it is. So here we go. Oh, right. So what I've done is I've just put in what I've used. This is going to be for my 8th graders. They're going to have to look into the caloric requirements in a post-nuclear war situation. Again, for this little thing that we're going to be doing. So I've typed in the information that they're going to have in that article. And now if I click on generate, here are SAT formatted questions based on what they just read. Okay. And down at the bottom, it gives you the answer key. So absolutely fantastic. And I do believe I can show you this one down here. It will assignments. Okay, so multiple explanations. So let's just say I need a 6th grade explanation of how literary analysis works. Or here, I'll do a math one. Okay. Man, it's been a minute since math. Quadratic equations, I guess. But don't hate, I haven't done quadratic equations since I was in high school. So let's just do quadratic equations. And we want to break this down to like a sixth grade level. We're going to click on generate and boom. It gives you an analogy. It gives you all of this just right there. All right. Um, and this is for like a sixth grade level. So if they're still like, I don't get it, do it like a second grade level. Okay. It simplifies it more. It gives examples. It gives analogies. Like, look how fantastic this is. Okay. And again, if you want more specific, you would just type in more specific of the concept that you're talking about. So for me, if I'm doing literary analysis, okay, it gives you examples, it gives you analogies, it really helps break it down no matter what the topic is. So I think that is absolutely wonderful. And again, it translates it. So again, things that would have taken you forever to like work on and do is now done in minutes. So that makes your planning time go a lot further, and it means you have more time at home to, do you and hang out with your friends and family. So there are definitely a lot of tools here that I'll be using. I'm going to play around with the syllabus generator later, as well as the AI resistant assignments. So everyone's freaking out over, oh, they're all going to cheat. You can click on this. I don't know. This is the first time looking at it, so go with that. Say sixth grade. All right, write a 5-paragraph essay. That's the description. Let's say I want them to write a personal narrative about a time that they faced adversity in their life. Okay, this is not what you're going to give them. Okay, this is what you're going to look through and decide which one you think is going to be best. Okay, so how you can prompt them. Okay, different things, and it gives you different options. Okay, so they had to use their own words. Okay, or they had to support emotional connections. Okay, which can't always be generated. I mean, it can, but you could just have to like specifically put in that you had to feel blah 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 emotion when you're writing this. Okay, which most of the time is not going to happen. Okay, so that's something that you can do with that. Really great. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna have to play around with some of these because again, I don't know. Let's go ahead and take a look at the math spiral review generator, just kind of see what that's like. All right, so let's go seventh grade math content. Parallels. Or let's see, let's just do the quadratic equation. Okay, you want 5 questions. Okay, you can ask for it to make like word problems, some easy, some difficult, that kind of thing. So let's say with word problems, two, two word problems. Okay, this is your spiral view for quadratic equations. Okay, so one's solving, one's factoring, again, solving, and then you got your 2-word problems. Okay, and again, you can shorten it, you can do all that with it. So absolutely wonderful. So it looks like a lot, it looks overwhelming, but it is super duper helpful and it's going to take so much time out of what you do all the time. Um, just makes it so much easier. It really is wonderful. Okay. So cannot recommend this enough. I'm going to actually be doing the diagnostic assessment generator with my students, probably in that second week. Okay. So let's do 7th grade. And I really want to know if they know anything about grammar. No idea if they know anything about grammar. So I can choose up to 15 questions. Okay. So here's the 15 questions it's going to give. It's all multiple choice. That's fine. Okay. And I can be more specific about the specific types of grammar that I'm looking at, but right now it's just going to be kind of an overview. Okay, and here is not only the correct answers, but an explanation. Okay, because blah, blah, blah. Okay, so let's just say I'm going to do 8th grade, and I am looking at quadratic equations, and let's say I want 10. There we go, boom, it's giving me all these options. Again, multiple choice for your students to kind of see where they are. And at the bottom, it gives you your answer key and an explanation of why. Beautiful. So not only does it give you the answer key, it also gives the explanation of why that's the case. So these are great for like little bell ringers. You can do like 5 questions, boom, and then have the explanations. It's fantastic. So highly recommend MagicSchool.ai for pretty much everything you need for this year. So if you have any questions and you want me to do one specifically on one tool that you're looking into, let me know. Thanks.